We are now.
We're live from downtown Kalamazoo, Michigan. How do you say your last name?
Valeii.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Being interviewed by Kathi Valeii.
Yes.
Has a wonderful blog. How do you say the name of your blog?
Birth Anarchy. Birthanarchy.com.
What's the spirit of?
Oh, Spirit of Alethea.
Alethea.
Yeah, it's my local birth work, yeah.
I could never pronounce Alethea. I'd look at it and my mouth would just go. Okay.
Talk about how you feel like legislation, licensure, affects the decriminalization of midwifery.
Well, I'm not sure that I would come at it from that angle. Let me come at it from the other end. Having just waxed and waned poetic over the professionalizing of midwifery, I have to say that there is a really big danger in somehow or another coming to the conclusion that all practice of midwifery that does not fall within the parameters of that professionalized model would then be considered a crime, an illegal practice either of midwifery or an illegal practice of medicine, which is what it is in the state of California. And so I think that there's a lot of reasons, but I'll stick to just a few of them, that making it illegal for one person to help another person during labor and birth is a real overreach for the law in the first place. But the other thing that it does is it allows the powers that be, and we're always... Power never gives itself away. It always wants more. Whatever it's got now, it wants more. And so it is our job in all those places where we are the recipients of unwanted power or that kind of thing, is to figure out how to push back. And so you can pretty much bet that if there is no pushback, and the fact that midwifery is not a crime, is we use the word decriminalized, but frankly the problem is that it was criminalized. We now have to go back and decriminalize it. So there are places in the United States where midwifery, there aren't any laws about midwifery. It isn't a crime. Let's keep it that way. And then let's have licensing laws that have to do with educating, professionally educating and licensing midwives who will have privileges that unlicensed or lay midwives or people who are just kind of lay attendants of some sort don't have. The ability to suture, the ability to admit somebody to the hospital, the ability to give somebody an IV, the ability to bill an insurance company, all of those kinds of things. But if you block that other avenue, if you have it be that the only way that a midwife can practice and that a mother can get a midwife's care is through this professionalized system, legislative scheme, what happens over time is that someone is always trying to make it a little more of something. If it used to be a 3-year program now, an educational program, now it's a 4-year program. One of the things that's happening, for example, in nurse midwifery right now is they're talking about making it so that all nurse midwives have to have a PhD, so that we can say that your baby was delivered by a doctor. How wonderful. Does a PhD make a nurse midwife better? I can't imagine, having practiced midwifery since 1979 or 80. I'm not sure when I caught my first baby as a midwife as opposed to being an L&D nurse or an ER nurse. But would it make me? I mean, I've had I've studied a lot in that length of time since 1979 or 80. I know a lot more about a lot of things, but almost none of those things make me a better midwife, except for the actual study of midwifery itself. The biology of childbirth is one thing, but getting a PhD and doing a research project on the statistical analysis of women who give birth in the Uganda or something, on a full moon when the coyotes are howling. people would be really offended. You probably shouldn't use that part. I'm just saying that it's irrelevant. That getting a PhD in midwifery, as that you can only practice if you have a PhD, is absolutely an abuse of the educational system. That's great for the colleges and the universities who are getting paid tuition for those programs, but we're not making women better. Or you can get a PhD in midwifery because you want to teach, because you want to do a particular kind of research project, and you need additional understanding of how to handle statistics, very sophisticated understanding of statistics. That's great. But not as in order to just attend an ordinary, normal kind of garden variety, somebody who's 29 years old and they're having their second baby, and and their last baby was a 6-hour labor, and this will probably be a 4-hour labor, and you do not need PhD for that. And when you make it so you can't do it without this higher ever increasing. The other thing is that every time there's an incident, they add that to the list of what you can't do. So somebody has a shoulder dystocia, and they say, okay, from now on, nobody can do, can provide midwifery care to a woman for whom it is estimated that the baby weighs over 4,000 grams. Now, there's a 1.5 pound difference. So a 10-pound baby can weigh any once the baby gets born, and you actually weigh the baby, as opposed to these guesstimates, can weigh anything from 8.5 pounds to 11.5 pounds. So that's just, well, I won't say it on camera, but we all know it's the B word, the bull. Did I answer that one, or did I wander off the reservation there and talk about something else? I'm prone to that.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to stop it again a second.